a condition is given, everything is in a seed form. Even though we feel so special about it, what is given to us is in a seed form. But that seed has to manifest, nurtured, and grow into something bigger. Lot of times what happens is, the condition is given in the seed form, and because we don't nurturing it, how do you nurture it? Basically, maintaining certain condition, working on it, meditate on it. So slowly it unfolds. So meditation is to unfold what is already there. Right? So the growth here is not like exactly a growth. The growth here is that seed form unfolds. When it unfolds, imagine, with that same seed, this entire existence has been created. So when it is unfolding into infinity, it kind of takes you to the, what should I say, it kind of grabs you, it pulls you inside it. And then you will see this wonderful manifestation of that seed. And so that's why Babaji used to say, it's sometimes lack of vocabulary, I would say. Babaji used to say, to digest those special sittings, it takes about 6 months. And more than that sometimes, to digest it. So, how do you digest it? To digest it, we must keep on maintaining that condition, keep on nurturing that condition so that it get absorbed. That is the whole concept of AEIOU. AEIOU is not something you do it today. We'll talk about AEIOU later. Once I was asked to give the session on AEIOU. I just entered the ashram from US. It was about 7:30. I got into the dorm. At 8 o'clock, they called me and said, hey, you have to do a workshop on AEIOU. And trust me, at that point, I only have some idea of what AEIOU is. And then I took a session for 2 days. That means I spoke for almost 16 hours, non-stop. Non-stop in the sense 8 hours non-stop. And with no presentation, no content. And everybody asked me, are you going to do any presentation? I said, I can do better job if I don't have any presentation. And then morning was in English, and then afternoon was in Telugu, our native language. And then a lot of people followed me afterwards, so I was in the dorm sitting there talking all night. And the next day morning, again the next session. So I felt like I spoke for 3 days non-stop with some rest in between. So, all right. So let's get into the session. So we were reading this spiritual anatomy, and we are on the topic of meditation. We did go through the steps of meditation, so now let's read through. The idea of all yogic practices is to make the mind resonate with stillness of the soul. This is a very important point. Remember this. So meditation is not concentration, not focus. It is something you are resonating with from inside. That stillness of the soul. Why you have to specify stillness of the soul? The nature of the soul itself is still, calm, joy, bliss, unconditional happiness. That's what happens when the mind comes in contact with the soul. So here contact is not like a physical contact, right? So it's always resonance. And it's all vibration, movement. How a movement is transferred from one state to another, one dimension to another. in a regular in terms of physics, science, correct, is the resonance. So that through that resonance, the sound, the vibration is transferred. Now what is the vibration of the soul is zero, stillness. That's why when we talk about the soul, it is thinking and moving. Atman, that is what the scriptures have said. Atman means thinking and moving. And then when this transfers into a superconscious state, then it becomes Brahman, the supreme soul. In fact, soul is a very bad translation of the Atman, the Indian word. There's no closer they could find, so anyway it became soul. And so that soul, when it comes in contact with the Brahman, the Paramatman, or the ultimate soul, the supreme soul, then it moves into expansion. That's why in our system, it is not movement we are talking about, it is the expansion we are talking about. So that seed which is sown in the form of transmission, in the form of condition, has to expand. How does it expand? So from when it goes into a supraconscious state. How does it go into a supraconscious state? Through meditation. And what do I do in my meditation? Just let it resonate. Just wait. You don't have to concentrate, you don't have to focus. If the thoughts come, let them come. If the thoughts don't come, let them not come. Thoughts or no thoughts will not qualify your meditation. The only thing which qualifies is, are you interested, are you ready, are you willing to resonate with this inner vibration? That's what counts. So that is why Daji, Babuji, Chariji, all the masters of the heartfulness have said, the only required quality for doing meditation is your willingness. Are you willing? If you are willing, why are you willing? What is that you are expecting out of it? So there is no expectation. It is only, I am ready to resonate with that inner silence. So that's why meditation is not done for peace, not done for any benefits, not done for anything other than resonating with this inner essence. What will happen? You will find it out. Like Nitesh and Neha was saying, it's different. Because there are no words to explain. There used to be a Limca advertisement in India. You guys remember it? So, what is Limca and how does it taste? And everybody says it's different. Because you don't have any words to express it. So we become centered. So this centeredness gives one a settled feeling. So that is why the experience of the meditation is whole. It is never part. Even in the Puranas, in the scriptures, it is said, even the part is the whole, and the whole is the whole. So there is never anything called a part in the state of the ultimate supreme soul. Because that which is omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, it cannot have a part to it. You see, even from a very logical explanation also, you cannot explain it as a part. Everything is a whole. It's complete always. So what meditation, when it comes in contact with this ultimate vibration, ultimate stillness, our consciousness also becomes that whole in almost instantly. That's why we should not be thinking of spiritual growth in steps. Spiritual growth is like that binary state. You are there or you are not there. And every time you come in contact with this ultimate condition, or when this transmission is given to you, you are already there. Somebody asked me, how many people have reached the goal in our heartfulness meditation? I told him, everyone who meditated for the first time. The first time itself you are with that whole. But for our mind to comprehend it, to assimilate it, it takes some time. But the whole is given to you all the time. Every time you meditate, you are with the goal only. And that's how a progress should be looked at. Right? So, I was discussing with my sister during the Bandara. Oh, she said, we have to be very serious. I asked her, what is seriousness? She said, if you are going from point A to point B, if you're totally focused on getting to the point B, you won't make multiple stops on the way. You don't look at a scenery and say, oh, let me stop for this scenery. Let me enjoy this scenery and things like that. You straight go to that place if you are serious about it. Then I asked her, what if I am already there in the destination? How serious I should be now? You see, we are always at the destination. If the destiny is not in the present, it is never in the future. We think of destiny as the future idea. But spirituality brings the destiny to the present always. And then what about the future? Future, it unfolds. What is in the present unfolds in the future. If you understand this, you will have a proper understanding of every meditation you get into. Through meditation, you are already with the destiny, you are already with the goal in every meditation. Let it unfold it for you. Even if something is sitting next to me, if I am not paying attention to it, I won't see it. Correct? Even if the mosquito is biting, I am engrossed in that watching TV, I won't feel it until it burns. Then I swat the mosquito. Same thing here, the goal is always with you. The destiny is always with you now, in the present. So that's why meditate as if you're already with the goal. Because you're already with the goal. It's not as if, it's not a presumption. It is the truth. But it has to unfold. Correct? So a steady and settled mind feels happy. If that settledness is not there, then one keeps jumping from one thing to another without any resolution. And this is also true. Whenever we want any resolution in our life, for anything, any situation, we run around frantically. We become desperate about that situation to find the resolution. And that causes anxiety, that causes stress, that causes everything else. And then we wonder, why are we so anxious about things? Because there is no clarity. But once we go into this settledness, then we see the big picture. Then we are not frantically, looking for a solution. Then we have this ability to wait and see how it unfolds in our life. Then it becomes a suspense movie. Our life becomes a suspense movie. Okay? And you are anxious, you wonder to see that unfolding. That is why spiritual life is a life of wonder. Okay. If that wonder is not there, then you don't know. So it's very, very important to give that attention, give that willingness, interest, and wait. It unfolds. You see that, in that book, Siddhartha, Herman Hesse, the guy asks, what can you do? He goes for a job interview, sort of a job interview. He asks, what can you do? He says, I can wait and I can think. Those are the only answers he gives. I can wait, I can think. It's very profound. So this waiting is an act of meditation. Thinking is to assimilate what happens in our meditation. Absorb. That is thinking part. So there will be no closure, and one is left with a feeling of dissatisfaction and a loss of inner peace. Settledness is the key, and meditation done correctly will automatically make you feel settled. So I have a constant chatter of thoughts going in my mind. I want to meditate, but I'm not sure I can. What do you advise? So one of the most common questions I receive from new meditators is the challenge of thoughts arising during meditation. The mind's nature is to produce thoughts, just as the eyes are meant to see and ears to hear. So during the day, a constant chatter of thoughts does not bother us that much. But during meditation, we become acutely aware of the disarray created by those thoughts. So we notice the mind wandering from one idea to another. Meditation helps us appreciate the need to regulate the mind and channel its capacities. Within a few weeks of heartfulness meditation, the chatter of thoughts goes down significantly. If thoughts bother you excessively from time to time, you can try one of these tips. Try doing some breathing exercise before you begin your meditation. If there are many thoughts during meditation, try to pause breathing for a few seconds and then continue the meditation. If thoughts persist, gently open your eyes, stay seated and take few deep breaths. Then close your eyes again. So one of the other things I would do is to read some spiritual literature. Perhaps it is a page from this book, some poetry you like, or particular religious text. Often it will put your mind in a spiritual space where it is easier to slip into presence with the heart and meditate. All this said, the idea is if the thoughts come, let them be there. Don't worry about it. Even if it is a gush of thoughts, let them be there. Somehow, Babuji said the wandering of the mind. Mind finds its evolution in its wandering. Let it give its freedom when you are meditating at least. In the other times we don't give its freedom because we are dragging it to wherever our attention is, taking us. But now at least during meditation, let it wander. Correct? It becomes easy to deal with it. Leave it free. Let it do whatever it wants. Let it find its way. And mind is more intelligent than us, more wiser than us. If you give it a direction, okay, let me find this resonate with this inner stillness, and you close your eyes, it will find it. It wanders, of course, but it will find its way. So give that freedom to the mind when you are meditating. Okay? So I'll stop sharing.